So this is our second of whatever this is.
Yeah.
Is this your podcast?
Sure.
Or is this an Ibble
This is a
original?
Ibble/Han/Jordan Shelby collab.
Okay, I like that. I just have no idea what I'm doing. And also, we did this once before, and I never saw. I kind of like it if we just do these podcasts. I never see them again. It kind of feels cool. But are you gonna post the first one?
I would like to, yeah.
We should probably
Eventually
review it.
it'll happen. Because otherwise it ruins the illusion of what we're doing here. Because the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking, oh, this is going out. So
Yeah.
if I don't do that, I'm not honoring myself and
Right.
my past self.
And you guys are all about honor, right? And you know what I mean.
What,
by you guys.
podcasters?
Yeah, podcast.
Yeah, we're a very honorific bunch.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I feel like we said some things that maybe we shouldn't have. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it being a lot
it was
of
dicey.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking for sure.
Anyway, it'd be cool if we release this first.
Yeah, that way people have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like a snapshot into our lives and the kind of emotions and thoughts that are going inside our head, recorded.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
very
out there.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're concerned about this haircut that you have right now?
Yeah, I mean, I did it myself, so I'm sort of more of a
Oh.
critic
Okay.
of it. But if someone else does it, I'm like, oh, you don't like it? It's not really, it's someone else's handiwork. It's like if you don't like a Picasso, it's not really my
Right.
fault.
Yeah, I mean, you say because if someone else did it, you can say a professional did it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion compared to theirs? So
Yeah.
That rocks.
Yeah, but since I did it on my own head, it's like 100%, it's my fault.
But it is, even if it was shitty, it's more impressive that you did. You can get away with a shittier haircut if you
Yeah.
tag it with, I did this.
Yeah, it's
Maybe if
like-
you sign it on the back or something,
Yeah,
people won't comment on
just stamp it.
it. Yeah.
It's like a organic, whatever, like a organic lemonade. You're like, oh, it doesn't taste as good, but it was made organically.
Yeah, it's a different, comes from slack.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's not as good, but
Although
It
I
was
do think
ethically sourced.
organic lemonade probably tastes better than regular lemonade.
yeah, whatever. Yeah. What's something organic that tastes worse?
I think theoretically it should always taste better. It should look shittier
Yeah.
and taste better.
Something homemade.
Yeah,
That's-
it's like that looks bad, but the
Yeah.
inside is
Yeah.
delightful.
It's more authentic. It's not made of high fructose corn syrup.
Right, but that does taste good.
HFCS.
If you could put high fructose corn syrup in something that was organic, it would make it even better. know.
It's
We
American
should do
MSG.
that, yeah. It's organic, and then we added high fructose corn syrup.
And we made it awesome. It's like,
But it still is organic,
yeah, it's
except
like
for the
steroids.
added, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what have you been doing lately,
Well, I don't want to
comedically?
move past your haircut that quickly. I do think it's good. I think it makes your head a little bit longer, but I think you're pulling it off. It
Well, the
looks
head
great.
is as long as it is, so
The head is as long as you make it,
yeah.
you know?
If I'm revealing more length, then it's really my head's fault.
Your head is as long as you want it to be.
Heads
Yeah.
are constructs.
However you
Head
can dream.
sizes are just made up by society.
What's going on with me comedically lately? There was the Moon Tower Comedy Festival.
You were in
I-
it?
No. But it was
You were
happening
watching
here,
it?
and my roommate's heavily involved in it, so I just basically follow him around a little bit. But I wasn't
Nice.
even in town for the first part.
You watched a lot of.
I wanted to watch his audition and jump around. And
Oh,
see a couple-
JFL was here.
There was the JFL audition, which it's so fun. Every comedy audition, it's the most comedy thing ever. It's just in the worst environment. Even
Mm.
if there's an audition at the club, the crowd's probably gonna suck. If it's at a bar,
Yeah, I mean, with a comedy show, there's the
bowling
illusion
happening.
that it's the best comedy thing happening ever. But with an audition, you're like, oh, this is like a preparation for something that's going to be awesome later. And so
Right.
no one wants to go there and be like, oh, this is like a slightly shittier version of what some other people, a better audience, is going to enjoy.
well, I actually think they're two. I think comedians talk about how shitty situations are too much. Actually, kind of as a side note, like I think usually the audience doesn't know that they suck when they suck, and if you don't tell them that they suck, then they're just gonna continue having a good time and not really knowing what the bar is for.
It could have been better.
Yeah, and I think comics get down on themselves a lot, or just get in their heads, and they they tell the audience they're having a bad time when they're not, and then they start having a bad time. But for auditions, presumably you're auditioning for someone who knows how funny, what the highest level, like how hard people can laugh, and like what a good comedy situation is like. And I think even experts, it's kind of hard to tell, like if you see a good comedian bomb
Yeah.
for your first time, even if you're really good at really you have a lot of comedy information and experience. I don't know how easy it is to make a determination on how good they are if you get example. Anyway, every comedy audition I see is in a terrible situation, which is kind of hilarious and kind of perfect for
Yeah.
stand up.
That way, if you really succeed, then you deserve it.
Yeah, they gotta make you work for it.
Yeah.
And it builds the skills and whatnot, but it's just funny.
I think it's like when they know it's an audition, they're like, oh, we're supposed to be judging them. Oh, the judges are judging them. Let me judge them as
the
well.
audiences. Yeah.
So they're not purely just experiencing it; they're analyzing it.
Right. Which is involved related to the lighting that they say in comedy shows too, right? Like if it's too bright, then they're not just experiencing it; they're thinking about what they look like and what the people around them look like. And this podcast is sponsored by Red Bull.
Are you just sneaking in things into this?
Sorry, I'm sponsored
studio?
by Red Bull, and they hire me to go to various startups and
this is like a movie theater.
Yeah.
You're sneaking in food,
100%.
and stuff. No, I love Red Bull. I think a lot of people use it to get energy, or the illusion
or
of
for wings,
energy.
you might say.
But I've never really experienced that. I'm never like I need more energy. I'm just like this is the energy I am, and I'm not gonna have more. I'm just gonna.
That is your energy, isn't it?
My energy is no energy.
It's just fucking level.
Yeah.
And I've seen you you'll like be level, and then you'll smoke weed or do drink or something, and then you'll stay. It won't affect you. Your energy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm trying to maintain. I'm doing everything I can.
To maintain what?
Whatever energy level is my default.
You don't feel the effects of coffee?
I do. I don't drink that much of it though, so it's not an everyday thing for me.
Yeah, that's good. You get so addicted to it. I'm still stuck on movie theater for some reason. Did your mom ever sneak in? Did you sneak in food into the movie theater?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I just didn't eat. I don't have to eat all the time.
Some people kind of backhanded, but
you did that? You snuck in like?
Well, no. I was gonna say I think that's a mom thing. Maybe it's I was gonna say maybe I couldn't see an Asian mother doing this, but I also could just like smuggling snacks in. Like, here, can you hold this?
They got
while
a
we go
whole
into the movie
fucking
theater.
dumpling and kimchi
sandwiches and stuff. But that's not really movie theater food.
No.
Chopsticks are not movie theater.
Well, it depends on what country you're in.
If you go to, are they using chopsticks in movie theaters? In Asia, are they like
movie
they're
theater
like,
food in general is very subjective,
right? But are they giving you bowls of rice in Asia to see it? Like, that doesn't seem practical, even if it's culturally your
But
thing.
what about like bags of shit that you have to open up and then it's crinkly? That doesn't seem very practical. Or like popcorn.
No, but
it's loud.
The mechanics of grabbing which they don't usually do potatoes, but like you can grab popcorn.
Right.
It'd be like eating popcorn with a foot.
Well, you don't have to use chopsticks for dumplings.
Right. Sure. But I'm saying chopsticks would be hard in a movie theater.
Yeah, I guess so. Not a lot of utensils. But yeah, I mean, Asians probably are frugal, so they might do that. They might sneak stuff in. But yeah, maybe it's a motherly thing to do where they're like, I need to take care of my child, provide them nutrients.
Yeah, but your mom didn't do that.
No.
Your mom was like, we will not eat anything.
It wasn't a policy. It was just...
You tried to take stuff, and she was like, fuck.
It was just how it shook out. But you snuck in stuff in the movie theaters?
Yeah, it's a big thing for my mom. My mom's very maternal, I guess, so she always wants to be feeding.
What would she sneak in?
Just like way too much shit. Like way too much shit.
Did she ever get caught?
I don't remember. Probably one time, but I do remember the feeling of being young and going through the movie into the through the movie security and her being like,
Yeah.
hold this tuna sandwich. Like why? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah. Um, tuna sandwich. That's tricky.
That would be terrible to take tuna
Um,
sandwiches into a movie.
but yeah, I mean, uh,
How's
anything?
my comedy life going? How's your comedy life doing? You're doing crazy shit. I'm sure you've talked about it on podcasts already and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Did you talk to Allie about it?
Allie Mack,
Yeah.
Makovsky. No,
Yeah.
I saw her briefly yesterday.
I don't know her very well, but I know you guys have both been in that role of
Yeah.
opening those arenas up.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her. I totally didn't even realize that's something I could ask her. I only saw her for a little bit before Kill Tony yesterday, and then she had to jet. But
I mean, I feel like it's a very specific experience that you guys have both done.
We could bond over it.
It'd be interesting to hear you guys compare notes about what it's like, because I've been to arena shows like that and seen the first comedian when people are still seating and whatnot. Is that when you would go up, basically, like the last little bit?
For Fort Worth, yeah, but for Jacksonville, I think everyone was pretty much seated.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird role. It's like a fucking event as opposed to a show.
Yeah, the craft of taking a bullet in an arena must be kind of
yeah, because it's such a grand setting, but the role is the worst role. Yeah, but it's still like better than not being on it at all.
An opener in an arena is better than a headline.
A headliner in a club.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was something that I said, or they said at another podcast, where it's like if 5,000 people laugh in a 12,000 people arena, then that's a bomb. So even if you get 5,000 people to enjoy your joke, it's not enough.
I would think about it in the opposite way, where it's like you don't have to get, if 5,000 people laugh out of 12,000, it's still going to sound really good. Like take some pressure off yourself. Because what percentage of the audience do you think is laughing when you make, on average, if you make a joke and let's say that joke did well, how much of the audience do you think actually laughed?
I would say 60.
Like not near 100 though, right? Just a majority.
Yeah. And then everyone else is just like, whoa, everyone's laughing. That must be funny. Yeah. They think it's funny.
Or they're just sitting there smiling and being quiet.
Yeah.
But it's hard to like, you never see just laughing. It's always a mix.
Yeah.
You know? But the point being, 5,000 out of 12 doesn't sound like a bomb.
Well, depends on how loud they laugh.
You would know.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think that there are times when a lot of people do laugh at the same time.
Doesn't matter how loud they laugh.
If it's just a chuckle.
Yeah, that would be funny if they're all laughing very quietly.
They're all smiling.
Someone else gets one person to laugh much louder. Sounds like they're doing better.
It's a different kind of art form, because in plays, you don't want anyone making any noise. You're just like, that was great. I killed it. And all you have to do is like, you know,
it was so quiet. I think it was killed it.
Yeah.
There's no.
You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, there's no feedback system for acting live like that.
Yeah. That's why they're so delusional, because you have to motivate yourself through your own mind.
That would be great, though, if we could invent a system of feedback, like a silent system of feedback, maybe just a remote or something, so that they could see in the back
measuring
how good they were acting based on how emotional everyone.
Yeah, I got a 7.9 on the Jordan Shelby scale.
Yeah.
But wouldn't measuring it change the experience for the audience, because now they're thinking about it instead of just being there?
But I guess it would be like, how much am I being affected by this? But I don't care. I think it would be funny to be acting really heartfelt and emotional, like you're seeing and you look up and you're getting a fucking 3 out of 10. Audience is hating it.
And then you get into your head.
Yeah.
And then there's people that do spite performances and are like, you think I'm bad? I'll show you bad.
Maybe that's why they have all these fucking award shows for acting and not really for comedy.
Because like, we already get enough reward.
How good was it? I find that one was good. Have an award. Else we would just never know.
Have you ever like calculated your laughs or like cataloged your sets or done anything analytical towards your comedy?
Um, Not in like processing the results like that, which is what I think you mean. I'm pretty analytical in how I am creative. Like I'm not like fun. I'm not a fun
You're
creative.
not fun
I'm a
analytical.
very like edit like type A sort of creative
Yeah.
person. But in processing the results, I'll like take notes or listen to the record. But I'm not counting like how many times they laughed in like the laugh per minute
Yeah,
thing.
I
Like,
think
am I
that's
doing that
bad.
calculation? I also wouldn't want to know. It's not really my game. Like my game, I'm trying. Hopefully, it's more quiet for a while and then bigger laughs,
Yeah.
as opposed to just a regular speed of ha
Right.
ha ha's.
You're all about the feel.
Like I do a lot of silence. I feel like so.
Yeah.
I probably would not get good results and
You do a
laughs per
lot of
minute.
silence.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian that specializes in silences.
Well, that's honestly a very douchey thing to say. I feel like he controls the silence so well. Which I don't think I do, but I just talk slowly. Is
Yeah,
really
you
what it
draw
is.
them in.
Yeah, I try and
Yeah, you're not
talk
going
quietly.
out there getting them, which is like quite kind of desperate and sad sometimes. You let
Yeah,
them come to you.
unless you have to. Like doing that in situations, they're all here listening. Like you don't
Yeah,
have to.
they
You
all
already
want
got them,
to.
but
Yeah.
they're
But some
like,
people like the illusion that, oh shit, we just happen to walk in and this guy's yelling at us and we have to pay attention.
I don't
Uh,
know. I have to do that in gnarlier shows. Some of the shows, like bar shows and stuff like
yeah.
that, I have to
The animal shows,
be
the
louder.
circuses.
Yeah, just scream to get their attention. But they're all paying attention though.
Yeah. Don't you
It's
think
good.
the ceiling is higher if they're all listening and then you can take them where you want to as opposed to you have to get them and then take them somewhere?
Well, I think they're different, somewhat different art forms actually. When people talk about stand up, there's actually two kinds of stand up. There's stand up where you have to earn everyone's attention and then hold it, and there's stand up where you already have everyone's
Yeah.
attention and then you can take them where you want to. And they require different skills.
But don't
And
you think one's better than the other?
well, the second one where you already have everyone's attention
Yeah.
is stand up. That's what the art form is actually,
Yeah.
and because it's just that's what it's and it's an ideal form. What you should be able to do. That's what
Yeah.
stand up is. But
But
you'll suck at that if you aren't forced to do the other one first, which
you got to
is
learn the other one first. When
yeah,
you're starting out, when you're the newest and the worst at comedy, you have to
yeah.
like
It's so
be,
painful.
yeah,
But
do the
you need
craziest
it.
kind.
But it's not actually stand up. Like there's
Yeah.
distinctly things you can't do in those situations.
I think it's more carnival barking or
Yeah.
like emceeing or like,
Yeah.
just wrangling people, which is fun. And some people are really great at it and it's cool to see, but it's harder to take them on fancy thought experiments and
Right.
impart better ideas in their head. You just have to go for the basics.
Right. Which is kind of in some ways the highest form of stand up, but yeah, you don't get to practice it in those situations, but it's easier in some it's just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
mean, I think that we're both of the second type and not the
Yeah.
first type. So maybe we're just being partisan about it, but I think
I
the
mean,
first kind of sucks.
the first kind it's just it sucks but it's necessary. And I
Yeah.
think it's good to go back to every once in a while, but it's just if once you get to a certain level, the progress is all in the second kind,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because you want to excel in an arena or in an area where you have that's what it's gonna be. Like people are gonna come once you succeed at the first kind, it's eventually gonna turn into the second kind.
Yeah.
So you might as well get good at that instead of getting good at the first kind.
Well, yeah, but what's interesting is that I I I also think that or I think that some people nowadays just because of how the internet works, you can headline with no experience. Like as long as you can sell the tickets, you're going to get those spots as a
Yeah.
comedian and it doesn't matter on your experience. And so you can start jumping to that you could start in that second kind of stand up now where everyone's already there and excited to
Yeah.
see. I do think those people are fucked. Like I think they're completely fucked.
Yeah.
I think accumulatively you will get more stage time because of your fame that will allow you to develop and you will get funnier. but I think unless you have to pass through the
Yeah. Or else you
valley of the
don't know
shadow
what's
of death.
actually
Yeah,
funny. You just know what the
exactly.
audience wants to hear.
Yeah, and you don't your bar is lower. Like
Yeah.
what you think is a crushing joke actually isn't, because you haven't had to pressure test it for 6 people,
Yeah. That's why
right?
we're the best.
That's why we're the
That's
best
we're awesome.
comedians that
Cheers.
have ever existed. Yeah.
Water for champions. So what do you think about Elon Musk buying Twitter?
Um, I don't really know. I don't really know. I'm not. I
Right? That's a
get
good
it. It's
take.
like I don't really know. I think
Yeah, it's sort of good, sort of bad.
here is my full take on it. Basically, is that ends with I don't know. Right? Is that there used to be this this term called the public space, right?
Hmm.
And it's a like philosophical idea that we was integral in some ways to what we the laws we based our country on. Like they had this idea of the public space and what freedom should be, how important it is when they created our country and in governments in general, and it's carried this entire time since the beginning of the country until now, and then just since the 90s, then just 30 years ago or whatever, since the internet came around in the modern sense, now the public space changed and now it's online, and we haven't caught up to that yet.
Right. It's a new
Yeah,
area.
there's this core idea that has manifested itself in our government and our lives for hundreds of years in this way, and then just recently it's like, okay, and now it's over here,
Mm,
and we're just catching up to that. And
yeah.
I think we need to catch up to that, and it's very important.
And
And
is Elon
Elon
Musk
buying Twitter is a part of that, but I don't know good, bad, how we fix it.
Yeah, well,
That's all I got.
right. I mean,
But I know it is
I kind
a
of
thing.
it definitely
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
We know that for sure.
Yeah.
Which is the one thing we can all agree on. It's the only thing we can agree on is that it
Yeah. It
happened.
did. Pretty sure it happened.
Yeah, I heard about it on Twitter.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think that
They might come here. What if Twitter comes here?
because he lives here now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if America was all about public spaces because it seems like it was for private ownership. Like every piece of land was private. I don't think of like America as like a place with a lot of public stuff. I guess public land is a thing, and like Bureau of Land Management land and national parks. So maybe, but I just feel like the internet was more free than our 1980s American public was. And then we were like, holy shit, this thing is free and amazing and beautiful. Let's pollute it and taint it with our corporations and our profit driven motives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Twitter is, I just don't, I mean, that's our system is like, we have to have rich people that are awesome that do the right thing. And it's really tricky to rely on rich people to do the right
Yeah.
thing.
Well, that's because it
And
sucks that we have to.
yeah, because that's our whole system is built around one person getting rich and then they get to do whatever they want in society and
Yeah.
everyone else just has to take it and hope they can be rich one
Yeah,
day.
that is pretty cool. That's how it is, and that's how our forefathers pictured it.
Right.
It's fucking dope. Well, two things. One, to clarify, when I say public space, I don't necessarily, not for you just in general. I don't mean public land. I mean like the theoretical idea that there was always a town square where you could go to and
Like
yell
freedom of
crazy
speech.
shit.
Yeah.
You can go into the public square and say this and just yell blasphemous shit. Or say whatever you want, and when it say the public space, it's the laws regulating that public space. So yes, you can scream whatever you want, but if you whip your dick out, we don't allow that. And there's this interplay with it that's now online. I have to fix it. My main thing with Elon Musk, I think it's funny that he's just so divided. It's people love him or hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny that people be like, I hate Elon Musk, justified or not. And it's like they can't even boycott him. It's like you can't even afford what he's selling. Like, you can't boycott him because it's not
Right.
even for you. So
Yeah, he doesn't need you.
tweet about it, but you can't even not use the products that he's doing.
It's so crazy. He's the
you can't
richest guy in the
afford it.
world,
Yeah.
and he's selling things to like 5% of the
And
population.
that's sad, honestly. And then he has this whole thing. Was like, we're gonna get the cost down. It's like, no, we're actually just gonna keep the cars dope and expensive.
So, what do you think about the Twitter mob? Do you agree with them or disagree? You think that they should exist or shouldn't? Like the blue-haired transgender
just like the
supporting.
idea of the Twitter mob. Well,
Yeah.
that's a little bit because there's the Twitter mob and then there's far left Twitter because the mob
Mhm.
can be either side,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
You just mean groupthink on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point it's on whatever side politically it's bad.
I mean, I
It's
just
the
think
death of nuance and compassion for other people in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
My problem with the left side of the Twitter mob is that they well, I used to like what I used to think was cool about being a progressive person or part of it was the compassion the like radical compassion
Mhm.
element of it, and that seems to be gone. It seems to be full of hate
Yeah.
and vitriol and
They've soured.
judgment. Yeah, they got cranky.
Yeah, but I don't blame them because the opposition is so
Is
abhorrent.
evil.
Yeah.
Because the other side is Nazis, apparently.
Yeah. At least back in the 70s and 60s that they were like, well, we just want to have a nice civil time and, we're defending
Nice Civil War. Mm-hmm.
suburban lifestyle. But now they're just like, we don't need, they've lost all pretense. They're just like, this is solely for like ethno-state,
Culture war, it's just culture
monogamy.
war.
Yeah.
It's not
And it's like, how often do you have to debate
Based on
people on whether black people deserve to have basic human rights or not
Right.
before you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop listening to you. But I think that
like how long can you intelligently debate someone
I
like
think
that? Yeah.
I think the left has just turned into using the tactics that the conservatives used because they've argued with them so long. They're just turned into conservatives, and the left is using the same tactics conservatives
In
use.
some ways, yeah, because it just politics work like that in general, right? You go so far one way, all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're on the other side.
Yeah, and I don't think that we need to be expanding our gender idea of gender that much. I just feel like most people are man or woman, and it's not an area that's fruitful to keep thinking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there are a couple parts to that. I think that I think there is validity to the. Obviously, it's extremely important. Also, I think there's validity to the criticisms where it's like it is not as important in terms of proportionally the attention and resources that we're giving to it. That there are potentially other people in more dire conditions that could use our help, and it would be help more people in a greater way. But we're just focusing on this one thing. The transgender thing is it's so triggering to like to everyone.
Yeah.
It's like so, but no, I think the main issue. Unfortunately I think there are some. I think that rich, good intending, affluent, wealthy white kids have taken issue of transgender rights, which is very important, but primarily related to people of color transitioning in low income households, and the fact that their like suicide rate and rate of them getting kicked out of their house is absolutely fucking crazy, and like
Right.
that's the trans issue. But the media just picks up stories of college kids wearing wristbands, like, you have to call me this now, and those are the stories that they're picking
Yeah.
up, and it completely fucks
The
actual core issue there, which is actually almost never discussed.
It's a
So that bums
distraction.
me out too.
They use it as a distraction, so the left and the right, so that they don't actually have to make any economic sacrifices.
Yeah, no one's. It's yes. I think I would agree with that. The culture war in general seems to be very like
Yeah.
intentionally distracting in some ways.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the goal of it, so that we don't actually fight the rich and take their money. But what do you think about communism?
I think that communists should have to use the bathrooms of their gender.
They should have a separate bathroom for
Yeah.
communists so they can clean it up themselves equally.
What do I think about communism?
Yeah.
In what, like modern, like Silverlight communism, or like
Well, it seems like it's the
old?
alternative to capitalism. Is that the only alternative, or
Hmm.
do we need a mix of both?
I don't. I don't know. I don't know if there is an alternative to capitalism, a functional alternative to capitalism, even though capitalism is kind of broken nowadays. But
So,
I don't. I'm just not smart enough to, to like know what and to actually find a whatever kind of government is actually most beneficial to whatever kinds of people. We haven't been able to run enough tests. You
yeah.
know, there's the one form where it's just you
Yeah,
have
it's not
to.
like we gave it a good shot. It's not like we're gonna have two separate
You
things.
can't double blind like
Yeah.
test every. It's just like that's the way it is. Let's see how it works out. And
Yeah,
you
and
get a
like
very
when people
small-
did try communism, it's not like we left them alone to see if it would work.
No, and I don't. Communism should be tried first at like a small island, and then you can scale it up, and then you can scale it up. You shouldn't just start with China. You know, it's like there's a lot going on there. It would be better if you were aware of the issues you were going to run into, aka it becoming
I mean,
a oligarch.
I don't even
dictatorship,
know
I
what
meant.
China is. China is like, I think they're supposed to be
What is it?
communism, but I don't know how their government
What's
works.
China?
I don't know what the Politburo, how they have people in there. And like with the US, the Supreme Court and the executive branch and the legislative. But then with China, it's like, I don't know what.
China.
Yeah, it's just China.
We're China, and our government is China. All right.
Chinese all the way through.
No, I think the answer to that is actually it's kind of fucked up. That I think we're all just like, yeah, it's a dictatorship, and there might be a genocide, but just who knows? Let's not talk
Yeah.
about. I think we're aware of what could be happening, but no one just wants to look at it directly in the face, and we're just
Yeah.
moving on with our global lives. Yeah, you know.
So
Yeah.
do you think we should try to be funnier, or do you think we're doing a good job?
Like you and me, right now,
Or
definitely
just
funnier.
America? You
Answer
think
that one.
America should be
Definitely funnier.
funnier?
Do you think we should be funnier?
Yeah.
I mean, we just elected Donald Trump. That's the funniest shit you could possibly do as a country.
We went full retard.
We elected Donald Trump and we sent him to the G7 where he fell asleep. Like,
He
as a
looks out
country,
of
we couldn't
place.
have done
He looks like
anything
a
funnier
cartoon
than that.
character.
Yeah, they're like real issues happening and our guy's asleep. That's
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
don't
that
know.
we haven't produced a good comedy movie in a long time. I think that
Well,
we're
that's- yeah.
stagnating.
well, no, well, because all of the people say that with comedies now, or with movies in general, it's either $5 million indie film or a $200 million Marvel
Marvel.
movie. There's nothing in the middle anymore. And what was in the middle before used to be high budget comedies like Apatow, Talladega Nights, sort of like big comedies, or
Yeah.
the Will Ferrell comedies.
So you think it's like an
that are
economic
gone.
thing because of pirating and the internet? Like people don't know how to make money off of movies, so it's either like you have no money or you have giant, huge blockbusters.
No, yeah, I think it's just an originality problem, in that in the end, the movie industry is businesses in charge of art, in this weird, in charge of the art that is created because they have the tools to
Yeah.
create it, and their businesses run risk. So that they've just, as time has gone on, they've become more and more risk averse, I guess. And they're like, we
Yeah.
know Spider-Man likes movies, so we're just gonna keep making these Spider-Mans, and then this little thing costs nothing, so we'll give it a shot, and maybe it will be a big hit. I think it's mostly just
So
and
it's
from my experience
like money.
working in that industry, it's just
Oh,
like
right, because you're
businessy.
working the business in
Yeah,
the
or like
industry.
I've had some a little bit behind the curtain things, and it's just, they're not. It's AT&T.
Mm.
HBO's AT&T. It's
Mm.
they're just trying to make money.
So
They don't
do you
give a
think
fuck
maybe
about
that's
anything
not the
other than
best way to
money.
make movies is just be driven by money?
I don't know. I think that's why there's no high budget comedies anymore, is because they're too quote unquote risky.
But what about the 80s and 90s? Wasn't that the same kind of mentality then? And yet they were making movies, comedy movies.
Yeah, maybe I'd have to look at exactly what happened. Was there some big bombs that happened? I don't know why it wouldn't be related to comedy specifically, I would think. I forget why the industry has been moving in that direction recently. All I know is that it is happening, but I'm not too sure what has sparked it. But
I think there's like a lack of vision or a lack of humor or a lack
sure.
of hope in our society. I think
Yeah.
the Iraq War really fucked us up.
It's also weird that anyone you talk to who's like our age nowadays is just like, yeah, it's all over in 50 years and just chilling. We're like, why do we all think everyone is just like,
And
it's
why are we
ending
all
now?
okay with
Yeah,
that?
we're all just like, yeah, it's the how casually you could and how widely proliferated the idea is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
They were all just happily holding hands and knowingly walking into the end of the earth, and no one cares.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Hopefully I get
it'll be
enough
fine.
jewel pods to last me till then.
Yeah, that would be a big deal. Would you want to see the wave coming of the nuclear blast or the asteroid, or would you just want to be asleep?
I would want to, like a lot of my life has been asleep. I haven't experienced demise coming
That's
at
fair.
me. I'd want to experience, that rush,
You want to
whatever that
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
the biggest high.
Yeah.
Just do some DMT right before.
I feel like I would want to be very sober for that. It does scare me a little bit, the idea of dying while very intoxicated. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
At least no one will be having more fun than us if we all die.
Yeah, well, if we all die,
Then you're not missing out on anything. It's like,
yeah, there's no FOMO
Yeah.
anymore if the world's over.
yeah, Kim Kardashian isn't on a yacht.
She's dead, dude.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what she's doing.
We're all in the
She's
same
dead.
boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, boat maybe would have saved us in that situation, but
Or
probably
a
not.
submarine.
Yeah. I wonder if the submarine is the smartest thing to be in for
It's either the smartest or the
catastrophe.
dumbest.
Well, it would make sense. Wow. I'm just about to talk so far out of my ass. It's crazy. It's like, let me tell you how a submarine works. In the situation of apocalypse, it seems
Have
like
you ever been in a submarine?
I think I've stood on top of one. Have
Really?
you ever had
Like
one
at a
docked or
museum?
something like
Okay,
that? Yeah.
I think I might have done that.
It sounds like a field trip
yeah,
in
it
fourth
sounds
grade
like
or
I
something.
might have seen it in a movie.
Yeah. No, doesn't it feel like the shock absorption of a submarine deep under the ocean when like something happens to the Earth would be better than
I don't
on
know.
land? I don't know.
Because I know, like in a
I don't
bomb,
know.
like the thing that kills a lot of people is the air
Pressure, yeah.
or something.
Mm-hmm.
And in water, it's more, viscous. So that might be even more
Viscous.
compounded.
Oh. Yeah, would the wave
Yeah,
be
maybe
more damaging?
the forces would be larger. But
Mhm.
really, I have no idea. Depends on what kind of Armageddon too. If it's like a meteor, it
What
might
is your
boil the
preferred-
waters.
Preferred Armageddon?
For me, or to die in
Yeah,
or
to
to
have it.
survive in?
Okay. Most fun?
To die in?
Yeah, but then the one that you think you have the best shot of making a life in. I want both. I want them both.
I would say the one I have the best shot of surviving would be like a nuclear bomb, because then I just have to go into like, Utah or like Wyoming, somewhere they
Yeah, but
wouldn't
you're-
bomb.
Right, but you're not going to know that. I would maybe because we're in Texas, we have a good opportunity of surviving. We're not on a coast, and I don't think there are any nuclear silos here.
We're so spread out too. You need like a bunch of bombs to kill all of us.
Yeah, it would have, if we're going in a nuclear blast, probably the rest of the states is also completely.
But it
fucked.
would be a pain in the ass to survive a nuclear holocaust, because you'd have to have a Geiger counter everywhere you go.
Yeah, you'd have to get out. Like you'd have to
Yeah.
go to a different continent.
Yeah. I guess
But you're saying odds wise, you think that's would be the
yeah,
yeah.
because you can just sort of like dodge it, like get in a car. I would think, and the worst would probably be like a meteor that
Yeah, you're gonna
just kills
hear that
everyone.
really high pitched like whistling of the bomb dropping, so you'll have time to
Yeah.
to drive out of there.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone dies in a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
That's what they
you
should have
hear
done
it.
in Nagasaki.
You hear the and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have enough time.
What were you saying? Then the most fun would be what?
Most quick would be a meteor. Just bam, it's over.
That's the one you would prefer to see.
It'd be the best to die in.
You wouldn't want to take your shot at it like a zombie apocalypse or a World War III sort of situation.
Zombie apocalypse might be fun if I want to do survival stuff. Have a have a lot of weapons and
Or
be a badass.
It doesn't even have to be a zombie apocalypse, but just like the crumbling, like watching society crumble into a free for all.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone
Don't
is
do that
prepared
with your
for.
mouth
I switched
when you
my.
look at me.
Sorry, I was just getting turned on by all this talk of
Yeah,
Armageddon.
so sexual. Yeah, but I think that one might be interesting. Probably horrific and terrible, but it would be. It's a very like video game. You sort of, ooh, will I survive as everything
Yeah.
crumbles? I
What
don't know.
are you like?
Nuclear sounds really bad.
Yeah,
It sounds,
it's the fallout.
yeah, dying of like, yeah, having your arm fall off slowly and shit, and not being able, you have no agency in fixing any of it. You know, at least if someone's trying to murder you
Iodine
with a
pill.
bat, you know what to do.
Yeah, it's more Newtonian
You-
physics.
You have something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you just say?
Newtonian.
Before Newtonian physics.
Forget. Bats.
You can talk about Newtonian physics if you want. He was the one with the apple, right?
Yeah. I think I was
I'm an
talking
idiot.
about we're all preparing for a zombie apocalypse anyways. It's like what we're all
We
looking at
do
each
have
other
a
like.
perverse fantasy about it.
Yeah, because we don't like each other. We're not united. We're just separate entities. We all look at each other as like cattle
Yeah,
that we have to avoid.
and everyone's like, I'll probably get it.
I can fuck everyone.
I probably won't be murdered immediately in the street. I'll probably get out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. If it did COVID didn't turn into a zombie apocalypse, so I think we're probably good. On that, you know?
What if it starts attacking our brains?
I was very concerned for a while that it was going to kill everyone, even like just a couple months ago. Still, I'm getting less nervous about it, but I was like, maybe it's just gonna. We don't know it's a super weapon yet, or not a weapon, but some sort of virus. It's gonna learn. It's just the first wave of learning us, and then it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And there's like some scientist in Wuhan who designed it and knows that's gonna happen, but we just haven't all figured it out yet. But it seems like it's not gonna be that.
I'm thinking it's gonna come back.
You think?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be deadlier or not, but it's just gonna like be
Well,
a pain in the ass.
It's back in China right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's more COVID now
It's
than
like the fashion
ever.
industry. It just
except for that one big
circled.
peak.
That one big peak.
Yeah, we had a big peak and it's starting to come down, but worldwide it's still bigger than like all the other peaks right now.
Yeah, I think we're all too. Everyone's just burnt out on it. Everyone's burnt out on it, and it's like this classic thing of the suffering isn't happening in front of you, so
Yeah.
fuck it. You know?
It's very in your face, short-term thinking. But I'm worried about it. I definitely think it can come back, but we gotta preserve our way of life and going to Applebee's and stuff.
Yeah, we need to keep telling shit jokes for
This
terrible people,
is important.
drunk bar people.
So are you still doing jiu-jitsu?
I mean, I love those people. Yeah. Not as a priority in my life, but as the exercise that
I would say
do.
that's the worst martial art for a zombie apocalypse because you got to get right on top of them.
Yeah, that would suck. You're just honestly, I have this theory. I've been trying to do a joke about it for forever, but it's just that every martial arts and ultimate fighting, it's just bullshit because no one trains to attack the penis or the eyes. Like if you're actually for hundreds of years developing what the best defensive martial art
Yeah.
is for people, it would heavily evolve eye pokes and like dick pulls. There's a lot of jujitsu situations where it's like, I'm just gonna rip your balls off right now. Like there's
Yeah.
you got me compromised, but
People aren't
so it's
defending
not
the
even really
balls.
close to a real fight, you know.
Yeah. Chimps would have an advantage because that's all they go for.
And it's like what, yeah, and it's like what is the scarier thing? Like this guy is an MMA fighter who is undefeated, or this guy has been training. This guy can rip your dick off in half a second. Like you can punch him in the
Yeah.
face, but he'll rip the dick off like a charging elephant. Like he's
Yeah.
really good at it. Like I'll fight.
He's a ball collector.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, I'm not
He's got
that scary.
everyone's balls.
Yeah, he's
in
got
his
him on
purse.
the like one of those Native Americans just fucking.
Like how Ronda
Tesla,
Rousey
yeah.
was taking everyone's arms.
Yeah,
This guy's
he's got
taking balls.
nuts. Yeah,
He just knows the correct way to position. He's got like the perfect body to get under your
yeah.
gooch.
A skinny hobo who is a master at ripping people's dicks off is
Yeah.
much scarier than the most violent UFC fighter.
Yeah, because
100%.
it's like permanent. It's
Yeah.
like long term.
Mm-hmm. So I do think it's kind of useless. It is really fun.
How to
And it gets
defend
that
the
energy out of you.
balls. No ball reaping.
Yeah, I feel like if you just instead of train punching, if you were just like doing that, it's like
Yeah. You would
if you
get
have a
inside
belt
people's
and
heads.
jeans, it takes me a third of a second to rip your dick. Hell no.
Yeah, that's the worst.
But yeah, it's fun.
That's what chimps do. They go for the fingers. They go for the nose. They
Yeah,
know what's
exactly.
important to you,
Yeah.
and then they take it.
Yeah.
That's what Joe Rogan said.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your sling? How's your
It's fun. I haven't
Still
done it in a
slinging?
while. It's hard to find a place to
now's
sling.
the time to attack you because you're not practiced.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I was like, if you go to a gym like right after someone's worked out, that's when they're the weakest, when they have the least strength.
Right.
So
Smart.
yeah, that's when I attack people who go to the gym a lot.
Right after, yeah, on the way out,
Yeah,
they're going in.
yeah.
It's not the time. They're on pre-workout. They're
Yeah,
well
that's the worst
rested.
time.
They're amped on their music. Do not fight that
Yeah.
person
You
on
just
the way
have to
out.
hope that
Yeah.
they didn't forget something in their car and they're just popping out real quick.
Yeah.
You got to get them when they're sweaty.
Yeah, you gotta make sure they're sweaty.
This is a real like skinny boys guide to fighting. Grab the balls and the dick
Grab the balls and poke them in the
after the
Try and get
at
me in
the
an
gym.
armbar as I destroy your nutsack, dude. Right? Take the arm.
You have my
Take it.
arm. I have your balls.
Take my arm.
Yeah.
I'm up the pant. You're giving me your. Take my arm. You're giving me your nuts.
I think they
Checkmate,
do that
bitch.
because that's the only way to do that sport sustainably. You can't keep doing jiu-jitsu if you keep getting your balls yanked.
It's the way to
on.
do any martial art sustainably, but it's fun. It's just funny to me that it has manifested patterns and that at the highest level. If you were to take someone from a different universe who was just training and attacking eyes and teeth and nutsack, and you had them fight, my money's on that guy. I don't care if he can throw a punch or not. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of those techniques are not gonna work out.
Yeah. You can hit
Unless you have a
someone's
sling.
head really hard, but not their balls. Like I would rather lose my balls than my head. I
Yeah,
could do
if you
without
get
the
punched
balls.
in the head really hard, there's a chance you're going to be able to keep going. If you
Yeah.
get punched in the balls really hard, you're sitting down for a while.
Yeah. You're
Although
you can't reproduce.
I would be interested to know the effects of adrenaline on getting smacked in the balls really hard. You know what I mean?
Maybe you'll just anger your opponent.
Like if I kick you in the balls as hard as I can and then I shove an EpiPen in your leg, like what are you capable of? Or does it just make it way worse?
That's what ISIS does to fight against America. They just kick each other in the balls.
Yeah. See, that's terrifying.
It's like meth during World War II for the
That's
Nazis.
very scary. It's like if you kick that man in the balls, it makes him more powerful. It's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
fighting
nothing you
that
can
guy.
do.
Yeah.
What about women? Do they get?
What about?
Can you just punt them in the cunt or?
Yeah, I think
Slap
they're
their
cool with it if
titties.
you just punt them in the cunt, slap their titties around a little bit.
Then they'll get really mad. They'll fight you like you're the patriarchy. Like, how dare you catcall me? They'll be filled with feminine rage.
Well, women, I mean, I think women are probably more trained to attack the dick more now.
Yeah.
Like they're much more aware of the true vulnerable spots of a guy if they need to, because it's very real.
Yeah.
It's not some fun fighting thing for them. It's
Yeah,
very
take
real.
away their dick, they can't rape you.
But if they were fighting each other, I think it's still. I think probably getting kicked in the pussy is extremely painful and as well, and a good thing to attack if you're a girl trying to get to another girl.
Yeah, you could fuck up their reproductive shit. You could block their baby making.
And then the boobs, I know, they're more of a balance, more of a balance thing. But some professional fighters, they get big fake titties and they beat the shit out of people. So maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a punching bag.
Yeah. Would you ever get fake tits?
No.
Are you lying?
No, I like small titties. Don't like big titties
I
on
mean,
girls.
For you, yeah, but on guys.
On guys, yeah,
That's
no.
what meant. Tits
I
on
don't
guys.
like tits on guys.
You don't like tits on guys?
No,
I bought some tits.
guy tits.
I have guy tits.
Yeah,
I do. I got them for TikTok.
guy titsieri.
Guy tittieri.
Yeah.
Guy tittieri.
So
That's the worst SNL character I've ever heard of. It's Guy Fieri with tits. It's Guy Tittieri. You're fired. You're fucking fired.
That's bad even for SNL standards.
What were you saying?
So what do you think about the whole Austin comedy
The hole?
scene?
Which hole? I love it.
Yeah.
I think the Austin comedy scene. I think it's not. I think when Joe first pitched it, it was this like thing where you thought a bunch of headliners and huge comedians would come over here, and clearly that's not true at all. There's not. You can't compete with the level of headliners you can see in L.A. or New York. But what Joe did do by talking a whole bunch of shit about his comedy club on his podcast is regardless of the fact that it's not here yet, but everyone at our level across all of America, opener to 20 minutes or so, we all came here.
Yeah.
We all came here, and it's made the environment for people at feature to headliner level, that the step below, extremely competitive in a good way, and it's
Yeah.
made the community very poppin', and I really believe in a lot of the talent here who are our peers, and that's coming from Los Angeles. I know the talent they have there, I know the up and coming talent, and I know the people here, and the current feature level people in Austin easily competitive with LA and New York. So
Yeah.
I really like. I don't think it's the current scene. It's not like all these headliners all the time like it is in the bigger cities. Maybe eventually, but not right now. But
Well, they visit.
For me, it's
a lot
great.
of the biggest comics visit.
Yeah, they come through for
Yeah.
sure.
And once his club opens up, they'll have a steady place to go,
Yeah.
and it'll be a great audience.
But I'm
that's
saying I almost don't even care. Like
Yeah.
I'm not. I like it's good and important to see for me to see really high level comedy, but I'm more concerned about being in a scene and having peers that I believe in as comics, and I have that here.
It's a good scene because it's not corrupted like LA or New York. It's not just like for the headliners to parasitize to further their career at the expense of the
Yeah.
other comedians, and it's pure. It's like people that actually just want to do comedy, and they don't want to like
People who want to do comedy and who are
Right.
passionate enough about it to move cities
Mhm.
blindly. And it's
Yeah.
I mean I could name I mean there's I'm very happy with like who our friends are.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
They're fucking good and
Yeah.
highly original.
And fun, and they have a joy to it that I don't think people in LA and New York have anymore.
Yeah. And that's just starting to cauterize. Like I really am enjoying the vibe a year out, being able to go. I mean, isn't it so amazing? Like compared to where, especially for you, but just compared to where I was a year ago, the fact that I can go out to clubs and bars here and walk in and see comics who are there's just a community now, and everyone's starting to get closer and get better and push each other in the way that's I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great scene. I think it's great for
And there are
developing.
no clubs.
Yeah.
But developing, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's also COVID too. I think like
Yeah.
Cap City had to shut down and
Yeah,
stuff.
they were supposed to open in February. So it's all a mirage to me now. But I don't. The point is, I don't care about it anymore because we're all getting better regardless.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't even matter for you because you have what the club would have provided. You mean you already have access to that, so
Yeah.
chilling.
I would love to have the club and then have like a 10-minute spot, maybe 2 or 3 every day at the club.
I mean, that was that's what in the best version of what Austin could be. It could for comedians. It could be you could walk to 4 sets in a night,
Yeah.
conceivably,
Hmm.
especially when these clubs open, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's not quite like that, but it could be once
Yeah.
they open.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's so beautiful and so pure, and
So beautiful, so pure.
it's not like LA or New York, which I thought was the only options, and I'm so glad that another thing opened up.
Yeah, well, like have a natural pushback to the LA slander because I'm from that. Like I'm from there, and my dad's from there. Like I love Los Angeles, but I have a very different experience of Los Angeles than a lot of people do. And also, right now, it's fucking crazy. It is actually really bad over there. But I agree, Austin is the place to be for
Yeah.
stand up right now. And there is the people who came here. There is a joy,
Yeah.
a joy and lightheartedness, which is very refreshing.
Yeah. They're happy to
Yeah.
have this. This was taken away from us.
And
yeah.
and the real comedians.
Yeah.
Really passionate about comedy. Where I think in big cities you get a lot of people. You get actors trying it out.
Yeah. Half-assing it. They're like, I might as well do something with my life.
That's one of the things
Yeah.
that they do. They're not like, I will die if I don't do stand up. It's just like, let me try doing stand up.
Yeah, they do it in a pure way, and it's like speaks to them, and they scratch an itch with it, as opposed to just like, hobbyists.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm stoked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
I'm having a great time.
I bet you fucking
I
are.
want to keep doing it.
Smooching away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I gotta do those Kill Tonys more. I gotta start.
Have you done it before?
I've waited a couple of times, but I've never gotten chosen.
Yeah, you do great there.
It's good. It would be good for my style probably, but I just need to buy tickets. I've gone a couple times.
You don't like standing?
I'm not gonna let people put me in a kennel.
You don't have to stand in the kennel.
Well, it's like outside or in the kennel.
Oh yeah, you don't want to stand outside.
No, I just want to be treated like. No, I'm not gonna subject myself. I just won't do that. I'll just buy a ticket and go. I know it's really important, and I just know it's really important. It's a really good show, but I've gone a couple times and haven't gotten up. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this again. I'll buy a ticket and just sit at a table.
Yeah, it's sort of dehumanizing.
Yeah, and comics will let themselves be dehumanized early on.
Yeah.
In a way that I'm not like okay with for myself, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to, be trodden upon.
But I think that's also a very It surprises me that comedians I'm not saying this is what's happening with Kill Tony, but comedians let themselves get pushed around a little bit at times, and it strikes me as a very anti-comedy thing in some ways.
You're supposed to be sticking up.
You should be resisting. I feel like comics have a natural resistance to authority as opposed to.
But it makes sense because you're subjecting yourself to so much emotional trauma, and you're bombing, and you're like, doing as many mics as possible. And like, that's like the path that a lot of like actors or entertainers have to face is like the humiliating auditions and
and you want something so bad, like if you have a chance at it here, you'll be like, do whatever you want.
You mean I get to play around for a living? I would love to do that.
Yeah.
And they'd sacrifice anything in the beginning to get that.
Yeah, and if you think it's gonna help, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it could be a great thing.
Are we wrapping up this podcast here?
Sure.
Is that the vibe that's going on?
Yeah.
Whatever this podcast is.
Whatever
the Hans
this
Kim
podcast
Ibble
is.
unreleased Ibble podcast.
Unreleased.
Dude, I'm sorry we snapped at you in the beginning.
Mixed
it wasn't
cut.
even funny.
We should incorporate him better.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to sign this waiver again. That'll be fun. You got any plugs? That's what you're supposed
Ibble.
to do,
Check
right?
out the Ibble
Yeah, let's just plug Ibble.
app in the studio.
Check out the Ibble app. They were like, it's a like Reddit meets TikTok meets Facebook. I was like, it's not gonna work out for you guys.
It's like a alternative to Twitter. So if you don't like Elon buying Twitter, check out Ibble.
That was probably pretty bad for them.
Yeah.
Elon buying Twitter, probably not good for Ibble.
Actually,
But we
Twitter's
love the
now gonna be-
studio, and the people here are great.
yeah.
All right, do you do your signature sign off?
Hey.
No, that's the beginning.
Bye.